What's up, Super Cool Nerds? Ricardo here. Welcome to another episode of Super Cool Nerd Nation. And today I have the one and only the J-Ster. I've got Roy with me today. How are you doing today, Roy?
Doing good.
Awesome, awesome. So we were just talking just a bit ago about how J-Ster is no longer allowed at Alamo.
Yes.
And I kind of want to start off with that story. So how did that happen?
All right, so Alamo a couple of times have hosted an all-clown screening of It Chapter 1, and they're getting ready to do one for It Chapter 2. Mm-hmm. And so I figured, it'd be a great place to have J-Ster come. And the first time that it happened, everything went fine. But the second time they had the screening, it didn't go over so well. For those who've never seen the face, this is the J-Ster face right here. And as you can see, it's pretty creepy. And when I have it on, I have the ability to actually stick my tongue out and wave it around right there. Well, apparently someone didn't get the memo that there was going to be an all-clown screening. And when I'm in J-Ster mode, he's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a psycho clown. And I scared a woman a little too much at the theater to the point where she complained to management. And so he's been banned from Alamo Draft House. And that ban is in effect until James Wallace says otherwise. So.
Because you were going to bring him out again for Devin Pike's fighting cancer thing.
Yes, as much to his dismay, I was going to bring him out because Devin's terrified of him. And I figure, who better to roast Devin than J-Ster? And then James Wallace came and said, no, I'm putting the ban here as well. You can't do it. And I'm like, damn. So...
Well, next time, so maybe you could deliver donuts to him. I didn't give him the idea.
I'll be greeted with a blunt, sharp, or sharp object, or
I mean,
maybe
it is
even
Texas. Maybe bang bang.
That, or a bat that looks like something out of the Warriors going across my head, or something.
So, J-Ster, how did that come about? How did you come up with J-Ster?
J-Ster came up because I was creating a game for AllCon that was part of the Games in Theory track. For those who don't know, AllCon is the local
4-day party.
4-day party that happens here. And when we were creating the Cult Cinema edition of it, we were coming up with a character that would be like an old retired late night show host of someone who would show these really bad movies.
Okay.
And so we were coming up with different things and everything, and at first it came up with kind of a variation of the guy Sven Gulli, who still hosts them. And then I found this mask at Party City, and not Party City, but Spirit.
Okay, so this is around October, okay.
Yeah. I saw this mask and I went, oh my god, this is creepy as hell. And then I thought, that would be a great character. And so the character started developing from there, and I noticed that you could clearly tell that the face has been ripped off. So the story I came up with him is that J-Ster saw a juggalo and liked the face so much that he literally took it. And so, I mean, it's borderline whether or not he's a real psycho killer or if it's a character that he's portraying for the show. But he's been fired for mysterious reasons, and so now he has to do the con circuit during these game show things, and he has anger management issues, which helps with playing with the audience and everything.
Nice.
And it just kind of grew from there, and then what really sparked the character to come into full fruition was actually Devin's reaction to the character. And
so you're saying it's his fault?
It's his fault, yes. And so seeing his reaction to the character, especially when I stuck my tongue out in the mouth, and he literally went running the opposite direction, I'm like, okay, this guy's born.
I really wish I had been there to see that. That would have been... I'm sorry, Dev. I know we're ragging on you a little bit, but that's hilarious. So you say you're doing for cult and movie stuff, and obviously you can't really see it, but I see you guys have a ton of movies.
And that's not even the digital catalog. I mean, I've got stuff on Vudu, I've got stuff on Amazon, I've got 1 terabyte hard drive over there filled with hard to find cult films.
Nice.
And I mean, I've been a fan of cult cinema since probably grade school. I mean, this is from growing up with the old days of USA when they used to have Up All Night and
Commander
USA's groovy movies, and kung fu cinema and stuff like that. I mean, I just grew up just absorbing and watching this stuff. And when there's films that I remember seeing from my childhood that I remember having fun with, I'll sit down and rewatch them. If I still have fun with them, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to add that to my collection.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I can't remember algebra, but I can remember crap like that. So
who needs algebra? I mean, I've never used it really. I got a calculator on my hand now. So growing up with all these movies and all that, like, do you remember what your first like cult movie was? Do you like vividly remember the most? The one that really kind of sucked you into staying up late and watching these movies?
Yes, it was. We had a local show. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we had one of our own versions of like Elvira and Svengoolie. It was called Creature Features with Bob Wilkins, and he showed the Incredible Melting Man was the movie, and this thing was just disgusting. But I was entranced by it the whole time, and it's about this guy. It's about this group that goes on a space mission to Jupiter, and somehow when the sunlight shines through the rings of Jupiter, it intenses the radiation and kills them, except for one person, who's slowly melting. And for reasons that's never explained in the movie, he needs to eat human cells in order to slow down the melting process.
Okay.
And it's done in graphic detail. The makeup effects was done by Rick Baker, and this was before Rick Baker became Rick Baker.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting because just imagine somebody pouring like semi-melted Jell-O all over a person's body constantly. And that's what the effects looked like of him melting throughout this film.
And how old were you when you saw this?
I was 5.
You were 5.
I was 5.
So this started off early.
Yeah, it started off early. And I remember the first horror film going to the theater to see, and my parents were kind of testing the water with me. And this was definitely the indoctrination into me loving horror and sci-fi horror. They took a chance of taking me to go see Alien in 1979 to go see it. And they're like, okay, this may scare him. I love the shit out of that movie. And so much so to where, and I don't understand why they marketed toys towards kids for Alien, but they did.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, but this was not a kid's movie at
all. Yeah, no, but
it's
still space.
But I had one of those big, giant xenomorphs that,
nice.
And I had it for years, and I didn't want to get rid of it because I thought this was the closer I could get to an H.R. Giger artwork. But I needed the money at one time, and I sold it and got a pretty penny for it.
Nice.
But yeah, that's when it really took off, was with those two films.
So you said at 5 when you saw Melting Man, and then Alien in '79. Did that also kind of push you towards, like, did you grow up reading comics?
I did, yeah. I remember the first three comic book characters I distinctively remember reading growing up were Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Howard the Duck.
Okay.
That says a lot right there.
And all 3 have become movies. So.
Yeah. Those are the 3 that I distinctively remember. Then, of course, Superman and Batman and everything. But Spider-Man was the one that I remember gravitating toward the most growing up. And I didn't understand what was going on in Doctor Strange. I just liked the artwork. And the same thing kind of with Howard the Duck. I mean, I look back at the old Howard the Duck comics now, and I'm like, God, why was I reading these as a kid? But I was just fascinated by the artwork with them.
Nice. So you say you grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, correct? Did you discover kind of like Comic-Cons over there? Were there any Comic-Cons growing up?
Yes, there was actually Star Trek conventions done in when creation wasn't corporate. If people who know creation conventions understand, they did Star Trek conventions and everything, and started going there. I've met James Doohan that way. I've met the guy who played Khan's son in Wrath of Khan. I'd have to say that my favorite story, though, coming out of those conventions is when I was about 8 years old. I became really good friends with Majel Barrett.
Nice.
And
there's a cat here.
Yeah, he wants your attention now. We saw her at her booth selling stuff, and my dad instantly recognized who she was. I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And apparently I tickled her because I had no clue who she was. And then again, I mean, she played Majel Barrett on the original show, and she had blonde hair. That was a wig.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing her with her natural hair, and even, you know, I still have the photo to this day. I was just like, I don't know who this lady is, but I'll be nice with her. And she stayed in regular contact when we became pen pals. And when it finally clicked who she was, as a kid, I'm going, oh shit, you know, this is Star Trek royalty I'm talking to here. But yes, she stayed in touch with me well up into her death. So
wow.
Yeah, it was a really nice friendship that we had.
So when did you move to Dallas?
2006.
2006. And how did that come about? And
it was a couple of reasons. One, marriage. That's when I met Chris and decided to move over here to be with him. I contemplated having Chris come with me, but the Bay Area at the time started getting expensive to live at. At the time, before I left, a studio apartment that I was living in was $1,530 a month, and that was before utilities.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it's like now.
probably
And
like $1 million.
something like that. So I went, okay, I came out here and I visited him a couple of times and went, okay, I like it out here, let me go ahead and move.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of moving on Memorial Day weekend, and every time I visited Dallas prior to that, I never visited during summer. So I had no idea how the heat was going to be. So I step out of the airport, I literally feel every pore screaming bloody murder at me, screaming get back into the airport, it's too damn hot outside. And this was just May, I hadn't even experienced July and August yet.
Oh my God.
So that was quite a crash course in learning how hot the summers get out here. It was definitely for the very first year, it was definitely a culture clash because, one, I wasn't used to people saying hello to other people just to say hello. Because in the Bay Area, it's very mind my own business, I'm in my own zone, blah, 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 blah.
You're in the South now.
Huh?
You're in the South now.
Yeah, and you know, having a complete stranger just say hi to you just to say hi, when somebody does that in the Bay Area, it's like, okay, what do you want? You know, you're not going to rob me, are you? But yeah, so that was a huge culture clash there. That, and plus also the fact that I didn't realize how spread out DFW was. Because in the Bay Area, while it's big, everything's intact. So sometimes it's easy to walk someplace or just to take the bus someplace. Not here. No, not here. Not here.
But hey, we have a lot more stuff though. So I think. So how did you and Chris meet? Did y'all meet?
Journal.
Live Journal.
Live Journal.
Was it through? Live Journal. What was? Oh, you just journal. You didn't. Okay.
Yeah, this was pre MySpace days.
Okay. Yeah. I never had a I had a Zynga. I had Zynga.
It's kind of similar to Zynga.
I had Zynga, then MySpace, and then Facebook, Tumblr. Well, I don't have Tumblr anymore since the band came down on all that other stuff. But that's what Tumblr was for. But y'all met through Live Journal?
We met through Live Journal, became friends through Live Journal, and we started communicating more with each other, started realizing that we had a lot in common. Then took the chance of calling each other, started developing a friendship. The friendship then turned into a romance, and now we're married.
Nice. Nice. And Chris is also a big nerd. Or
especially when it comes to Star Wars, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know the Star Wars part. I just knew he was a nerd. But I know both of you guys are nerds. But I kind of walked in and I'm like, oh, I see like all the movies and I see the Star Wars stuff. I see Jaws. I see. If you guys could, I'm not sure you guys afterwards. They've got a huge amount of collection, right behind the camera.
Yeah, if there's anything that he nerds out about, it is both Star Wars and disco music. Those are his two big things that he nerds out about. Where with me, it's you name it, I'm probably a big nerd about it. But yeah, I mean, he'll sit there. There's sometimes I can't watch Star Wars because he'll sit there quoting along with the whole thing, and I just have to stare at him like, can I just watch the movie, please?
Is that kind of how y'all did that help with y'all's connection just because it being Star Wars?
Actually, it was Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm a giant and that comes with J-Ster also, because J-Ster likes to riff movies, and part of that whole thing comes from not only attending constantly midnight movies, especially Rocky Horror Picture Show and stuff, but when Mystery Science Theater came on the air, I was instantly hooked to that show, and that kind of really formed my sense of humor. And so, we met on LiveJournal through the general interest of Mystery Science Theater 3000, and just would quote random stuff from different shows and stuff like that. So that's kind of where we found our connection.
That's really cute, actually. I like that. Now, this is going to be a bit of a heavy question. I know you didn't have an easy growing up. Did comics and Mystery Science Theater 3000 and all these things kind of help you get through?
Oh yeah, especially, when I was a young kid, the two things that helped me escape a lot was not only the abundance of Star Wars toys that I had, but even Saturday morning cartoons, especially the Super Friends stuff. That's where I really developed my love for Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman and all them. And even when they finally started coming out, I don't know why it took them so long to do it, when they finally started coming out with toys for them with the Superpowers collection. Those were my means of escape, was that, and then plus also listening to music and stuff. So, but that's a lot of where my fandoms started coming into play, and then along came He-Man. I started collecting into that. Then came G.I. Joe, then Transformers, and I'm surprised I had any room in my closet because I had so many damn toys growing up. But yeah, that was my means of escape, was going into that, and that's why there's a lot of stuff that still has a lot of good memories for me and stuff. I go back and look at some of the stuff today, like the 80s He-Man, and I go, good God, this hasn't aged well. But I even became a fan, and this was with my sister because she loved it as a kid, but then I started watching it and realized how much fun it was, and it was Gem and the Holograms.
Okay, yeah.
So
if the camera gets knocked over, it's because Nibbler just knocked it over.
Our cat Nibbler is exploring your recording equipment, I see. That's called a camera nibbler. You can probably hear him sniffing.
You might see her here in a second. Him or her?
Him. You might see his ass. All right, come on down, Nibbler. Thank you.
Nope, there. You saw the tail there. So you were in high school during the 80s, correct?
90s.
The 90s. We've seen a lot of movies, like especially with John Hughes, like 16 Candles, First People's Day Off, which is actually that was John Hughes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm blanking on the thing, and then Breakfast Club. Was high school in the 90s kind of similar to that, or?
Yes and no. I really didn't get to experience the co-ed aspect because my parents sent me to, here's a fun one, folks. Here is a confused person who is in the closet being sent to an all-boys Catholic high school. That's what you do to a confused boy, yes.
That's that's just...
So, I don't regret going to the school, but even though I didn't get to experience really the co-ed part, except for doing drama club and stuff like that, there were some aspects, especially in Breakfast Club, that were true. Even though they were kind of exaggerated with the cliches, the cliches were definitely there.
Yeah, they were just cranked up to it like 1,000.
Mm-hmm. If there's any high school movies that are out there that I think are very close to what I experienced in high school, the two would be The Breakfast Club, and then the other one is Mean Girls. Except take the aspect of Mean Girls and incorporate it to an all-boys aspect. It was kind of the same way. There were the boys' versions of the Plastics and and everything else. So when I saw Mean Girls, I was like, oh my God, this is totally my high school experience right here. So yeah, it was interesting how, not only John Hughes, but also how Tina Fey were able to get those correct. And I think as long as there are going to be teenagers like that in real life, it's going to resonate. Even with Booksmart just recently, It still that blows me away because those people still exist in school.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think I could survive being a teen now, looking at films like that and seeing what they have to study today. But yeah, it's amazing how those cliches and those cliques and everything.
They're there, but they keep evolving.
Yeah.
And not for the better.
Yeah.
So, all right, if anyone's watching this, you have kids, tell them Mean Girls, Breakfast Club, Booksmart, they're not guides. It's not like...
No.
It's kind of like people saw Idiocracy and thought that was a good idea. And that's where we are at now, government-wise. It's not a how-to. It's a don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
So
and Ferris Bueller's not a role model. Ferris Bueller is the person who would grow up and become a Trump supporter.
Oh my God, he probably would.
Which is why I have issues now watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because I watched the movie and I'm like, he'd grow up to be a Trump supporter.
Oh God.
I associate now more with Cameron than I do with Bueller.
It's kind of like what was like growing up, you idolized Batman, but when you get older, you realize Joker was in the right.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool.
Well, it's like with Rent. With me growing up, I mean, I associated so much with everybody who was fighting the man and fighting the power with Rent, and now here I am older, and I'm like, I'm gotta agree with Benny here. You lived rent free for a year. Pay up.
Yeah.
And on top of that, what he's offering, I'm like, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Get a job, you bums. Yeah. So
it's like, I get it. You're a starving artist, but at the same time, like you gotta make a living.
You're a starving artist, but make some money. Get out there and make some money. You can handle both at the same time. So yeah.
So going a little back towards the J-Ster, you said you do riffs.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that? And did it get easier as technology evolved?
It did, because a group of friends of mine, we did it back in the 90s during high school and college days, and we kind of did it for ourselves, really. We actually... I'm surprised we didn't get kicked out of the theater. When the movie The Relic came out in the 90s, we went to go see it, and we thought it was going to be this really good horror film because we read the book, and we're like, oh, the book is great, we can't wait to watch this. The movie was horrible. And so we're sitting there, and literally 5 minutes into the movie, we start amongst ourselves riffing it. And there's this scene in the movie where this guy who's scared, he goes running into the bathroom and slams open the bathroom stall and closes it. I just finally had enough of just how bad this movie was already, and I started making these shit sounds. And oh, thank God. And my friend Cindy, she starts slapping me, and she's going, we're going to get kicked out. Stop it. But then it escalated from there, and at the end of the film, it was us and 3 other people in the theater. At the end of the movie, the 3 other people said, thank you, you made the movie bearable. The seed was planted at that point.
When did the movie come out?
Relic came out in 96, 97, something like
okay.
that.
I was 7. I was 6 or 7 years old.
It's a shitty movie.
Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, as technology came around, it got a lot easier to do it. I mean, especially nowadays. I mean, the way that I do the J-Ster riff ones is... I'll sit there and I'll watch the movie, and I'll watch scenes over and over and over again, and then when, to me, the right joke comes, I just record the dialogue through iMovie over the actual film itself and go from there. So it makes it a lot easier to edit it together and sync up and everything else.
Which one has been your favorite riff that you've done?
So far, it's been Andy Warhol's Frankenstein.
Oh, God.
People would think it would have been The Room, but the thing is The Room... has become, if anybody is a theater nerd out there that has done theater, to me, The Room is like Oklahoma. The go-to. As much as I love The Room, it got to the point where it's like, okay, I've done this so many times,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. When I found Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, I'm watching this thing, I'm slack-jawed through this whole film, going... this was actually distributed in theaters, and then it blew my mind even more when I found out it was a 3D movie. And I'm like, wait, what?
I mean, it is Andy Warhol, which, I mean...
It's so you've got these really cheesy 3D effects that happen in the movie, and they're just so god awful. And you have, Victor Frankenstein's having an ancestral relationship with his sister, and fathered kids with her, and the Frankenstein monster starts having sex with everybody in the castle, and it's just so crazy. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, I've got to be in the right mindset to be able to do this. So I recorded the tracks for it while I'm on painkillers for my hip. And the thing is 75% of the riff I'm on painkillers, the other 25 I'm not. You can tell when the painkiller recording happens because it's just something out of nowhere. There's this clip in the movie where they're driving this carriage, and it's this long clip of them driving a carriage. I don't even remember recording this clip. And they're ringing this little bell as they're driving along in this thing. And so all of a sudden you hear J-Ster going, elotes, elotes. And when I'm watching the final product, I hear that and I went, where the hell did that come from? But I'm cracking up because I'm going, God, it's accurate. So I'm working on one now that I've had to pause on and off on because I'm really trying to find the fine line between basically what I'm calling the Blazing Saddles fine line with it, because
you don't want to be come off as too racist.
Yeah.
Or racist at all.
The movie I'm riffing is Song of the South. I found a full copy of Song of the South digitally, and the thing is not only is the movie bad with the racism, yeah. The film is boring as hell. I mean, I was bored throughout this whole thing. The only time that the movie really comes alive is the animated segments, but when you have something like Rare Rabbit and the Tar Baby, oh, wow. And especially the way they make the Tar Baby look. Very stereotypical black. And
of course.
All that was missing was white lips. And I'm watching this thing and I'm going, oh, this is uncomfortable. But it has to be made fun of.
This is a Disney film, right?
It's a Disney film,
okay,
yeah.
Now, I've got a question, but I'm going to ask this one first. What are the odds of that being on Disney Plus?
Oh, none.
None?
No. I mean, Disney's done some racist stuff in the past, but...
You don't think they'll put in there? Like, you have to be, like... It's going to be, like, you have to be 18 or over.
Well, the fact that for Dumbo, when they put Dumbo on there, they're cutting the whole Jim Crow scene out, which I can understand, but at the same time, it doesn't make any sense because that's how Dumbo gets the feather in the original Dumbo movie. So I don't know how they're going to rework that. I mean, that scene is racist.
Yeah.
But nothing compared to the racism in Peter Pan, where not only do you have the extremely racist depiction of Native Americans in that movie, but also the misogynistic shit that they do to both Tinkerbell and Wendy in that movie. I mean, I'm watching it, and I'm going, God, this is the most anti-feminist movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, to the point where you're waiting for Peter Pan to tell Wendy, go in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. And the whole segment where they're doing the song about why is the red man red, which is the name of the song, which is offensive alone.
Yeah.
But that whole 5-minute segment has nothing to do with the plot.
It's just in there.
It's just in there. And I'm just watching this, and I'm like, okay, so they'll cut out the Jim Crow scene, but they're going to have basically the Native American version of Step and Fetch 'Em going on in this film. Okay.
Well, we'll see what happens when Disney Plus comes out. There we go.
Yeah.
So your favorite one that you've done was the one with your own the painkillers, which was what was it? You just said it?
Oh, Frankenstein.
Oh, Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Andy Warhol's Frankenstein. Other than the one you're currently doing, what has been the hardest one that you just had a really hard time putting together?
The hardest one that it put together is one that I'm still working on, which is I wanted to take a lot of the old game shows from the 70s and the 80s and make fun of them, because some of them are begging it, especially the new show's on the air right now. Oh, and there goes Nibbler stealing the shot.
Hi, Nibbler.
There's a show that's currently on the air with Joe McHale, Card Sharks.
Okay, yeah.
Going back and looking at the original ones, the questions that they ask, because they ask a question that they take a poll with people, and you have to guess a number, percentage, and then it's up to the other contestant to guess if it's higher or lower.
Okay.
Well, there was one episode I was watching, and the game show was the question was, what is the percentage of women out of 100 women asked this question? What is the percentage of the women who say that they frequently refuse sex from their husband? And it's a male and female contestant, and they asked this to the female contestant.
Yeah.
And she gave a percentage. And it was a pretty high percentage. And then the male contestant said, well, I think it's going to be lower because I don't think a lot of women know how to say no.
Ooh.
And my jaw dropped. And this was in 1986.
Oh.
And I couldn't believe how offensive that was. And the female contestant, all she could do was just laugh it off.
Yeah.
You know. But I'm sitting there, I'm thinking in her mind, she's probably thinking, if we weren't on the air right now, I'd rip your balls off.
Oh, God. Imagine if they had that question, something like that, and like on Family Feud with Steve Harvey.
Oh, God.
You just stare at him,
It's just...
Jeez.
Some of the questions that they were asking, they were so offensive. And people, when they think about loosey-goosey game shows of the 70s and the 80s, a lot of people immediately think of Match Game because they were drunk on the set, but... just hearing some of these questions that they used to ask on Card Shark, I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked that they got so personal and misogynistic with the questions. And so I'm going, okay, this is what I want to make fun of. But then I listen and I hear the questions and I'm like, how can I make a joke about this? Because this is so fucking offensive. So that's been the hardest one. I was supposed to come out with that 2 years ago, and I'm still working on it because I'm not knowing how to approach it.
So I bet the guy that has a hard time saying no to a dick in his ass. So there you go. So you moved to Dallas in 2006, and then how soon after you moved here with Chris did you kind of start getting to the con scene?
It took a few years, actually. I didn't really discover the con scene here until about 2009, and that's when I discovered Texas Frightmare Weekend, and then through Texas Frightmare Weekend I also discovered All-Con, and through all that then I discovered which is now the Dallas Fan Expo and everything else. So it took a while for me to get my footing back into the con scene. In fact, my first memory of you is seeing you at All-Con as Princess Batman. So, and I can't remember.
Was it right All-Con that I do Princess Batman?
You did it at All-Con once, and then I also remember seeing you doing it at Fan Expo.
Okay.
I just remember seeing this person walking around as Batman in a dress, and then when I met you when Alamo opened up, you introduced yourself, and you're like, "I'm Princess Batman." I'm like, "Oh shit, it's the same guy." Yeah, so.
Do you know how often I get that reaction? Well, I mean, it's been 4 years since I last did Princess Batman, but people even my wife's telling me, hey, you should do it again. So I just gotta get the dress and fix it up a little bit.
You know, the best time to do it is when that new Batman movie finally comes out. When
Rob Pattinson?
Well, actually, no. Apparently, he has backed out of the project.
No, he backed out of a different project to do this.
Oh, okay, because I heard he backed out.
No, yeah, I saw that headline, but I'm like, wait a minute. Then I clicked on the comment and said the headline's misleading, and I clicked on that thing. I'm like, oh, he backed out of another project in order to do a Christopher Nolan's film and to also do Matt Reeves' Batman.
Okay.
So, because I saw the same thing, I'm like, wait a minute.
I was like, okay, this is going to be a cursed production. So.
No, but it's on my. One day, like, I retired from cosplay just because, I just don't have time. If I have the money, I don't have time. If I have time, I don't have the money. So it goes both ways.
Welcome to adulting, yeah.
How'd you get into cosplay?
I got into cosplay because of theater. I mean, it was an easy transition. I did theater in high school and also in college, and so it was easy getting dressed up in character and everything. And and I've always been fascinated by cosplay, even when I was a little kid, seeing people come up dressed as their favorite characters and everything at all these different conventions. It's just a matter of trying to figure out who to cosplay as. My first ever, I guess you could say, true cosplay venture was Nedry from Jurassic Park. Here's the funny thing is, it turns out that the people I usually cosplay as, it's the same actor. So it's like I started off as him, as Nedry, and then for a long while I was doing Fanboy from Freakazoid.
Same guy.
Same guy, yeah. But Fanboy is a lot of fun to do, especially if anybody recognizes who the character is. And plus it's fun, just to run up to random people and purposely fanboy out and see who gets the joke.
Ooh.
And
Fanboy as J-Ster.
Oh, no, that's too much.
Come on, it'd be great.
So with the recent release of Toy Story 4 and with the appearance of the characters over at Lake Highlands, they saw me and they said, you would be perfect for Al from Al's Toy Barn.
I did see that, yeah.
And I'm going, why have I never thought of that? That's perfect. And then I realized, wait, it's the same damn actor. So I just now need to play Newman from Seinfeld and just get it all over with. But yeah, I don't know why I never thought of Al.
Wasn't he also in Basic Instinct?
Yes.
There you go.
So, but yeah, I don't know why I never thought of Al from Al's Toy Barn. I went, that's a perfect character to do. With and without the chicken suit, it's the perfect character to do.
So if you're gonna walk around with a Woody and a Jessie, don't go to Target. Target's gone for like $80.
Oh no, I'll get them at the Disney store.
Disney store's down for like $35.
Yeah, it's much cheaper at the Disney store.
Then I thought of it, I'm like, because Target needs to pay all the fees and everything in order to carry the toy, and Disney store where they own the
they
world.
own them, so yeah.
They own the world.
Plus the ones at the Disney store interact with each other, so.
So other than J-Ster and all the ones by Newman, or the guy who plays Newman, I can't remember his name.
It'll come to us afterwards. Now, yeah. It's Wayne something, I know that.
Oh, Wayne.
Not Wayne Brady, because that's a different person.
Wayne Harris? No, it's not Wayne Harris. It's a basketball player, I think. Anyways, what's on your what's other than Al now from Al's Toy Barn? What's other characters you've wanted to cosplay?
I've also wanted to cosplay. I can't remember the character's name, but it's Jack Black's character from Jumanji.
Yeah.
The minute I saw Jumanji, I went, dear God, that's me right there. And so that's definitely one that I want to
you've got
cosplay.
Like 6 months to come up with that, because the new one comes out in December.
December, yeah. So that's definitely someone who I've wanted to cosplay as. I've wanted to cosplay as Granny from the Looney Tunes.
Oh no. Somebody. I remember somebody. Oh, no, this is someone that was blackballed from the cosplay community here in North Texas, but she did a Granny, but she would be a dirty Granny.
Oh God.
She would go up to people and ask if they've seen her douchebag and stuff like that.
Oh,
no. To friends, people that she knew, but yeah. No, I now think about it, I remember why she was blackballed from the cosplay community. It wasn't a good thing. Awesome, man. I'm trying to see if anything else kind of popped in my head from everything. You told me quite a bit. This is actually my longest interview I've done so far. We're right at 40 minutes, so this is actually pretty good. I like this. This is kind of what I want. I want people to get to know you. Get people to get that because I thought about it, we've known each other for 3-4 years now.
It's been a while, yeah.
But we know each other, but we don't know each other. A lot of things you told me today, I had no idea, and that's kind of what this is, for people to get to know more of the people that they're hanging out with. It's hey, we only see each other Alcon, Fan Expo, Frightmare Weekend. We hang out, but we're also busy. We don't actually get to know one another.
Most of the time I'm invading your job.
Yeah, and you're invading my job.
Especially now that I'm a host, I'm invading like crazy. So
which is good. I love that. So I get to see you now more often than not. So, with Frightmare, horror films.
Yeah,
So then-
I tend to be kind of a fan here. Yeah.
Has there been a horror film that just seriously scared the shit out of you?
Oh yeah, recently, ones that I guess you could say caught me off guard, that terrified me. One in what I would say like a funhouse sort of way was Lights Out.
Okay.
In fact, there was actually a moment in the movie where it, fortunately, was levity for the audience, but it scared me so hard that I actually screamed out loud, Jesus fucking Christ, when it happened. Probably the two most recent ones that got under my skin so much that they're hard to shake were Hereditary.
Okay. I watched it. I thought it was just. I laughed my ass off when the girl lost her head. That was like, I was like, okay, I can't take this seriously. It's not even scary anymore. It's just batshit insane.
That one got under my skin, and Terrifier was one that just made me. It's been a long time since a horror movie's made me want to turn away from watching something.
So the one with the clown?
That's the one with Art the Clown. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there's a kill in that movie that you have to turn your head and look away.
Is it where the girl's upside down?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's gruesome. It's really gruesome, and I was like, God, I can't believe they get away with this.
I actually. There's actually the first scene I watched because I woke up and my wife. I came in or something. I either woke up or I just got home from work, and I walked in and my wife was watching the movie. That's the first thing I saw. I'm like,
God.
I'm like, oh, what's going on? Oh shit. Oh, that's hilarious. I thought it was funny, but then I have a weird sixth sense of humor when it comes. I mean, to me, Saw when the first Saw came out, I'm like, that is so cool. I have a weird thing about gore. So.
But the one most recently that has been hard to shake is Climax.
Comics. I haven't heard of this one.
It's about a dance troupe, and they are celebrating the fact that they got together and they're about ready to kick off on this world tour starting in the United States. The movie's half French, half English. It's set in France. And it's this group of dancers who are getting to know each other and everything, and somebody spikes the party sangria with a pretty lethal dose of LSD. And it's directed by Gaspar Noé, who is like Darren Aronofsky. Everything is in your face.
Yeah.
And to make everything feel more off-putting than it already is, the film starts with the closing credits. You see the very end of the film and the closing credits, and then the whole film then just goes mumbled from there. You see the first act, which is this incredible dance routine. I was exhausted just watching it. And then you start getting to know the people, and they start gossiping with each other and everything. And then the alcohol starts flowing, and things start getting a little weird. Then the opening credits happen. And this is like 45, 50 minutes into the movie when the opening credits happen. And then at that point, the shit hits the fan.
Where can I find this movie?
It's on all streaming services now.
Okay.
You have to rent it, but
okay.
But when they find out that the punch has been spiked with LSD and a pretty lethal dose of it as well, paranoia kicks in, and then literally it all starts hitting the fan. And the way that Gaspar Noé directs, it's not your typical horror film. It's more a psychological mindfuck, basically. But it's one of those films where when it's over, you are sitting there just dumbfounded at what you just watched. And it's haunting. And I love horror films that do that, where you can't let go of them after you're done watching it. So the one I'm nervous about now is Midsommar.
Yeah, I saw that thing James put on there.
See, I'm seeing Midsommar and Spider-Man the same day.
Wait, did it come out the same weekend?
They come out the same weekend. And so it's like I'm seeing Spider-Man, then immediately following it with Midsommar, and I'm beginning to wonder if I should reverse that.
I think you might have to reverse that. Man, you're just going to be an emotional roller coaster the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Man, that's... Oh.
Well, it's like the weekend, this past weekend with Child's Play and Toy Story. I mean, I wasn't expecting that type of roller coaster. I mean, Toy Story 4 emotionally wrecked me, and then I go see Child's Play and I laugh my ass off. And
which one wrecked you more, Toy Story 3 or Toy Story 4?
Toy Story 3 definitely wrecked me more. There was some stuff that happened in Toy Story 4 though I wasn't ready for. But no, when it comes to Pixar emotionally wrecking us, Up in Toy Story 3 is like right there. So.
Where's Inside Out?
Inside Out is just below those
Just
two.
below? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to not only seeing Andy saying goodbye to his toys, but also seeing the toys almost dying
Yeah.
in that scene, and then you also have Up with watching the first 20 minutes of Up, and that being the first 20 minutes of the movie, and you're like I'm sitting there going, okay, why didn't they just hand us razor blades and just get it over with?
So I actually did not see Up until last year, and the funny thing was, 2 years ago, this is before I saw it, and I had kind of heard of this guy because my wife my girlfriend at the time, but now she's my wife, had told me about it. She was telling me about it because she's huge into music. Like you play 3 riffs into something and she'll know exactly what it is. Like she's that knowledgeable in music, especially classical. Like oh my god, like she's gone on like on hour rants just on like Tchaikovsky and stuff.
So she's going on rants on other things other than Harry Potter then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of things. But I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and they said if you buy any of the vinyls there from the Disney Music Emporium, if you come out the next day, you can get a free signature from Michael Giacchino.
Oh, nice.
I didn't realize really who he was, so I bought Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 on cassette because it's the Guardians. So I bought them. They're like, hey, do you want to come back tomorrow and get these signed, or at least meet? And I'm like, maybe I'll swing by. And I swung by and I took a quick picture as I walked by, and then I'm like, hey babe. And then like the next day or a day after he was out there, I said, hey, I just realized, do you know who this guy is? She's like, why? He's like, oh, he was signing free autographs. It's like, what the. Why did you not know? So that's actually one of my biggest regrets was like I did composer for Up and Spider-Man Homecoming and Star Trek, the new Star Trek, not those good ones, but it's
the Abrams universe, yeah.
Jurassic World Part 1 and Fallen Kingdom and all this stuff. I'm like, oh damn. So, but awesome.
Oh, I would say emotional wise, now that I think about it, Toy Story 4 I would put with Coco.
Coco?
Yeah. Of how it emotionally wrecked me.
So we've got up here is going to be
Toy Story 3 and Up, and then immediately afterwards it's Coco, Toy Story 4, and Inside Out.
Inside Out, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for Coco either, and it's like that hit, and I'm like, shit. Yeah. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to cry. So that's why after Toy Story was over, that's why I posted on my Facebook, God damn it, Pixar, stop it. Stop emotionally wrecking us.
Yeah, the last one that really made me ugly. Oh, I mean, and theaters that I saw was Inside Out. That one made me, especially the Bing Bong scene, that just made me ugly cry. Like, I was a mess. Toy Story 3, I had a bet with my brothers, because I have 2 younger brothers. We all grew up with Toy Story, and Toy Story 2 and all that. And we said, all right, person to cry gives the other 2 brothers $5.
Oh, God.
We all looked at each other at the end of the movie. We're like, it's a tie.
Yeah.
It's a tie. And then, so Up, I mean, I was sad, but like, because of how much people hyped it up, how sad it was, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it.
You were kind of emotionally prepared.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like I get it. If I'd seen this when it came out, I probably would have been a mess. And then Coco, of course, me being Hispanic, having not really grew up in that culture. I mean, when the beginning part with the whole thing with like the sandal and all that stuff. Yeah, like that part, I'm like, cool. That my childhood's kind of coming back, but the whole Day of the Dead thing, we never really celebrated that. So that part didn't get me as much, but the whole him coming back and singing and all that, I'm like, okay, that really got to me. So.
Yeah, see, I was nervous with Coco because I like the Book of Life, and so when I heard about Coco, I was like, oh God, it's Pixar's Book of Life. Oh no. In fact, as much as I like Book of Life, I think Coco is better than Book of Life, and Coco just really knocked me out of the water when I saw it, and I couldn't believe how good it was. And yeah, I can't hear that song "Remember Me" without crying. So yeah, I just that whole.
I bet you loved our pre-show, didn't you?
Even Chris during the pre-show, it's like when the pre-show started, he hasn't seen Coco yet, and it's a good thing because when Coco came out, it was when his father passed away, and so I went to go see Coco. And I came back and I told Chris, you are not emotionally ready for this movie.
Yeah.
No.
Not yet.
He's yet to watch it yet, so he doesn't know about the impact of that song yet. But still, yeah, your pre-show when they started off with that scene from Toy Story 3, he's like, oh, god damn it.
And then it goes into Coco, then it goes into Up, and then into Bing Bong. And,
yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Cool, man. We're almost at an hour. So, I can't think of anything else right now. I mean, you guys have a lot of collectibles. Does it ever, like, do you ever, like, just, like, I'm like, okay, I really don't need this because I don't have space. But I really want it.
Yeah, pop vinyl does that to me. As you could tell with the pop vinyls, all of this is nothing compared to the stuff that I have in storage. Also, because pop vinyl frustrates me because I sit there and go, okay, I don't need anything else, and then they announce their new wave, and I'm like, god damn it.
Are you a fan of Johnny Cash?
Yes, I want the Johnny Cash one. I want both of them that they came out with.
I got the entire Queen set from Box Lunch.
Yeah, see, I haven't gotten the Addams Family one. I want the Addams Family set, and then...
Then you come up with an Ernest one.
I'm surprised they haven't done Ernest yet. I mean, they did Colonel Sanders, for crying out loud. And then they did the U.S. history ones also just
I got
recently.
George Washington.
Yeah, and from understand, I heard that they're now going to be doing Clue the movie.
Oh, God.
And exactly. And I'm just like, stop it, pop vinyl, stop it. So I still regret not investing money in Funko when they started out. Yeah, because
I mean, the same thing with people saying about Apple.
Yeah.
And, I wish we had invested money in it when it just started off.
Because I thought it was just going to be some sort of, novelty that just would be around for a couple of years.
It was the new Beanie Baby.
Yeah. And now look at it. They're like one of the biggest toy companies out there now, so go fig.
Do you have the glow-in-the-dark Darth Vader from Dallas Comic Con from a few years?
I do not know. I do not, unfortunately.
Because I've got a ton, but I'm a friend that said I am snooty when it comes to Funko Pops, which I agree, because I'm very picky. I'm very, very picky. Like, I will get chases, hard to finds, or exclusives only. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'll get a few like I see you have the Groot over there. Like, I think I have that one, and then I would probably try to get the Big Boy because it's Big Boy, and the Slimer and all that. But I'm very, very selective, and part of it is it's like a nest egg almost. Mm-hmm. So I was going through. We found a list of like the 10 most hardest to find Star Wars Funko Pops. I had 2 of them, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I have one of them. I have the flocked Chewie. That was He's not. He's in his box, put away. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got like probably like I have the first time Dallas Comic Con did the VIP badge. This is back when it was still Marks.
Oh wow.
So this was like 2013. This was the first time they did. You get the VIP badge, you get a toy, you get this and that, and then you get the 5 jumps for like $105, which was oh god, I miss those days. And it was the Reverse Flash for exclusive to Dallas Comic Con.
Oh.
That goes for about $40 now, and I'm like, shit, I got lucky on this. I paid $100 for the badge.
Yeah, I think the 2 real collectible ones that I can think of off the top of my head that I have is the flocked Chewbacca and then the Rainbow Batman.
I have that one too.
Yeah.
High five.
Yeah, I saw the Rainbow Batman and something told me, yeah, that one's gonna be worth something. So.
Yeah, I have that one. And I also have the pink Batman because obviously Princess Batman, so I thought it'd be funny. But awesome, man. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Y'all got to know Roy better, and where can they find you on social media?
I'm a podcaster also, as if I'm not doing enough things. You can find my podcast, Cult Film Fanatic, Cult Cinema Catacombs. We're on Twitter as These Films Exist. Yeah, because we find some real films like, I can't believe this exists, but they exist. You can find our podcast at cultcinemacatacombs.podbean.com, and you can also find it on Facebook as well. Cult Cinema Catacombs with Roy and Andrew. And,
Andrew Farmer, right?
Yep, Andrew Farmer.
I miss him. I haven't seen him since the first time he moved away.
Yeah, he's supposed to come back to All-Con next year, so...
Yay. Oh, when is All-Con next year?
March.
Fan Expo's March 29th through the 31st.
It's not going to be up against Fan Expo. It's the weekend before.
Okay, cool. Perfect. I think they learned their lesson.
Yes, the weekend before. It's basically the weekend around St. Patrick's Day. So.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
this past one, it was actually on St. Patrick's Day, so we took advantage of that. J-Ster was done up in
green.
In green. Well, not just green, but I found a onesie jumpsuit of a
God.
leprechaun. So J-Ster's running around dressed in a onesie leprechaun. That was fun.
Where can people find your riffs?
The best way to find the riffs is follow me on social media. Just look for Roy Wood Buckingham and stuff. I usually release them through there or through Twitter on These Films Exist. They're only available for a limited time because I release them through the Dropbox. I don't want to get in trouble for trying to make money off of them because, especially Song of the South. Last thing I need is Disney on my back. So I do them for parody reasons and stuff like that. So that'd be the best way to find them is just follow me on one of the social media marks. So
cool. So follow Roy on social media if you want to see these riffs. Check them out. They're actually really, really funny. I know I'm just saying that because he's here next to me. They really are funny. Awesome, Roy. We'll see you. If you want to see, no, he's not allowed at Alamo. So let's see J-Ster. When's the next time?
if you see me at Alamo, I'll be myself.
When's the next time people can see J-Ster? If people actually want to see him and meet him in person.
It would be all con. So the next time you see J-Ster in person won't be until 2020.
So 2020, keep an eye out for Allcon. He'll be there as J-Ster. And Roy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was awesome. And as always, keep on nerding.
Keep on nerding.